So the big question is this: what is life like on tour when you're playing professional golf? Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's tough. That's the question, and this is the podcast that's going to give you the answer. Welcome to Tales of the Tour on Stock Shot Secrets. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Stock Shot Secrets. I have my beloved wife for another episode of Tales of the Tour. So thanks for joining us. How you doing today, babe?
Good.
Top of the morning to you. So what were you saying? Your back hurts today.
Yeah.
Why? Tell everyone why your back hurts. I think they would be interested to see why in our marriage your back hurts. Because the roles are really quite reversed.
They're a little reversed.
What were you doing yesterday?
I put a new bumper on our Jeep.
Yeah, why not? Let's just take an entire disassemble a Jeep bumper. And what was I doing? I was preparing.
You were inside.
I was preparing dinner.
No, you were inside watching the draft.
Right. So
Yeah.
somebody has to.
We have to mod out the Jeep. It's fun. It's our fun little
What's
summer
interesting
car.
in our relationship, guys, is that in the handyman work, that's definitely Leslie's thing.
Yeah, my dad's a big handyman, so
Where did you learn to do all that stuff?
my dad. I mean, think about the build out with TGR. He was like my right hand man. Think about all the build outs with the golf room. He helped in every aspect.
So when he had like those 47 Porsches when, back in the day that none of them seemed to get done. But
those were projects he wanted to do, but
right,
he put
were
aside
were you down there like working with them and like
no, he
or just
always
sitting there kind of just being daddy's helper and passing screwdrivers?
Yeah, it's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
We remodeled a lot
My
of
dad had
homes
to he had to like read the instruction manual on how to screw in the light bulb. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Totally different worlds.
Different upbringing.
I like that kind of stuff though.
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, I think I'd rather get punched in the shins or kicked in the shins.
Well, the Jeep looks pretty cool now.
It does.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so here we are. So we're back for another episode. I think last time we were here, it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So
we finished up
we're
in
a little
Tunica.
more tan now.
I know.
We're not so pasty white. We get to go to Scottsdale next week, which will be amazing.
Yeah.
Miss these. So we left with LaGrange orange.
Ooh, bless you. Maybe. Bless you.
We left
We finished
with,
in Tunica.
Yeah.
And we're headed to LaGrange, Georgia, which was a pivotal moment for you.
Yeah, I think that for me on LaGrange Orange, one of the things
Georgia.
Or LaGrange, Georgia. God,
You're thinking
we're going to LaGrange Orange.
LaGrange
in
Orange.
Scottsdale. I've already got those chocolate chip cookies and English muffins on my brain. I'm hungry.
Sounds so good.
So in LaGrange, Georgia, one of the things that was really very impactful for me that week was really quite lots of humility in it. And Michael Thompson and I probably will come in later episodes of just when we're going through this story. But Michael at the time, he's on PGA Tour now. Been on there for a decade. Won a couple times. Him and I work together now. We went from being friends to then player and coach relationship. But he walked the entire practice round with me. And I remember I actually told this story.
What brought him to the point of walking the entire practice round?
I don't know if
with
he was
you.
kind
Were
of
you
injured
just kind
or
of
if he was just like, I'm just going to kind of walk with you and like I don't need to hit any balls. I'm just going to kind of.
Because he was playing that week.
Yeah, he was playing, and he had won like 4 weeks in a row. Yeah. So
that's how you get on the PGA Tour,
right? Any advice you'd give, but he gave some advice the other day, or he gave some advice in that practice round that I'll never forget. And I actually told this 2 days ago to our Elite Junior Academy. And hopefully there's no one listening to this named Sally Sue. I actually said it last night in our Stock Shot Club webinar last night because we talked about green reading, which you can get if you go to stockshotclub.com. But anyways,
who's Sally Sue?
So he goes, whenever you're playing golf, just don't do what Sally Sue would do. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, if you got like a downhill putt, Sally Sue would hit it like 20 feet by the hole, like try to leave it a little short. Or if it's an uphill putt, like Sally Sue would leave it short, try to hit it past the hole. Like, don't do what Sally Sue does.
Yeah.
So it was like, obviously somewhat common sense, but I was like, and what happened that week?
Natural instinct is what he's basically saying.
Kind of, but it was more like just don't press the matter. Like when you would caddy for me, I'd go, what do you think, sweetheart? And you go, just do what Jim Tressel would do. And for those who don't know Jim Tressel was who was actually in the airport a couple weeks ago when I was there.
I don't think that was him.
It was him.
My dad said it was him. I don't think it was him.
Jim Tressel was the coach for Ohio State when they won all those national championships back in like the 2013, 14, 15. But play calling, he was very conservative. So like it was always like run it up the middle, run it up the middle, run it up the middle, run it up the middle. So if I was like, Wes, should I go for the green and try to hit in two? She goes, Nah, just do what Jim
No.
Tressel does. Just lay it up.
Yeah, play it safe.
That was safe. Hey guys, I hope you are enjoying this episode of the Stock Shot Secrets podcast. If you are enjoying it, be sure to like this episode. Be sure to subscribe so you can always see when they're coming out. And most importantly, if you would be so kind to be able to share this podcast with other passionate golfers who are trying to get better and build stock shots, because it grows through you sharing it. Thank you so much for tuning in. And now back to Stock Shot Secrets. Which is probably why I never made it, because I didn't make enough birdies. However, I think...
Was I stifling you?
No, you weren't definitely stifling me. But now knowing what I've known
yeah.
I should have probably been more aggressive.
Well, maybe you should go back on tour like I've suggested for a summertime.
Lesley has this idea that she thinks that next year
I've had this idea for every summer.
that we should rent a camper
I think we should do it next year.
and have...
Not a camper, an RV.
An RV. Take the kids.
Oh my god.
Travel around the country and play in
Just hit up
tournaments. However,
qualifiers.
I did practice this morning and
Was
I
it
was
good?
striping it.
Okay.
So
The confidence is building to go back out on tour.
I
What would we do? Just hit up a bunch of qualifiers?
don't know. If that was an actual thing, I guess I'd probably go to qualifiers, and then if we didn't, we'd just stay in the city for the week.
Okay.
But Corn Ferry Tour is not like... It's like you're in Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah, we've been to all those places and we've made the most of it, so it's fine. We should do it
Go
again.
back to Cheddar's?
Cheddar's was so good. We're doing it.
Yeah.
2025.
We'll see.
World tour.
So that was the so he says don't do as Sally Sue does, and then that was the other epiphany that I had, which is interesting because we're talking with Pia and Lynn later, and depending on when this comes out, it might be out already on Stock Shot Secrets or not, but that week was really the epiphany where I was like, wow, I am a massive head case, because that was
You were just finding this out?
yeah. But it was because...
It's because someone else told you that was outside of me and outside of P and Lynn.
No, it was because I was starting to create the correlation that every time Jeff Harlow put me on the clock, I started to make lots of birdies.
You didn't have time to think. You just were like trusting your natural instinct.
Yeah. So, which is a whole thing in itself. But LaGrange Orange, that was good. It was my first top 10 finish.
LaGrange, Georgia.
LaGrange, Georgia. What I just say?
LaGrange Orange. LaGrange Orange. If anyone hasn't been there, it's a great little restaurant in Phoenix. And they have great breakfast.
Good pizza.
Great pizza. I don't think I've ever had their pizza. Good lunch spot. It's just
I think we ordered the pizza when we went with the kids.
a dreamy little restaurant right down the street from where we like to stay. So hit that up.
But first top 10 finish, which was great.
Yeah.
Nice paycheck, which was good.
I felt like we kind of turned the corner there and we were like, okay, we're adulting now and making some money.
And figuring it out.
Yeah.
So that time, that was later in the year. So, and I think
that was in August. So after that, we went to Seattle. Our
Yes.
niece was born early August, so we went to visit her for the first time.
Was that the one where we camped at Lake Diablo?
No, Lake Diablo, we camped earlier in the summer in Seattle.
So this is the second.
His second trip out to Seattle
Seattle was
to meet
amazing
Ruby.
this summer.
Yeah.
And Diablo was interesting.
That was such a pretty little spot where we camped.
Yeah. So, all right. So then that kind of leads me into the Q school stuff.
Yeah.
Going into
No. We went to Augusta. This was our first trip to Augusta, Georgia.
Oh yeah.
And this year,
Fort Gordon.
Augusta has a lot of memories for us. But actually, when we stayed in Augusta, Georgia, this tournament was in actual Augusta, Georgia. The tournaments that were in the next couple years were in North Augusta, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Which we have a lot of good stories to tell from there. But I mean, we were right there on Fort Gordon Army Base.
Yeah, and remember how you'd have to get all the credentials to go in, and
yeah, you'd have to show your ID.
That was a week I'll never forget. I had the Pro-Am that week, and I did the Wounded Warrior Pro-Am.
Yes.
And first, it was crazy because you're doing it, you're playing with these three gentlemen who had been in the Army or Navy,
and I've been wounded,
and
arms amputated, legs amputated, 100%. Yeah.
And I was playing with them. I was getting we got along really, really well, and I'm asking him questions, and it's kind of fun to hear different stories, and certainly puts it in perspective. But I will remember there was one time I was not hitting, this was me in the cart.
Okay.
I'm just to the right of the guy in the cart. And I'm actually kind of a little bit behind him, which by the grace of Jesus on the lesson tee, I'm yet to go. Well, I did get hit in the face with a ball, but I'm yet to get hit in the face.
For a different day. We'll come to that.
I'm yet to get hit in the face or in the head with a club or whatever, or in the body. But I remember I was with this gentleman. He was an amputee, so he had it, and he hit a shot, and somehow the ball went backwards. like, which doesn't even make sense. And it went into the cart and like rattled around. I was like,
Whoa. A little scary.
It took right off my face.
Yeah.
So before Gordon was, I mean, the course wasn't great.
I feel like I vaguely remember this course, the club there, but
there was a reason why they left that year and went to a different course.
Yeah.
So, but then it kind of started then that was kind of the end of that tour for the year, I think, right?
Yep. And then you had
because I don't know if you have seen this. Leslie has pulled out the archives that are written in basically like Aramaic on clay tablets. This Mac computer was like
I think it's like 10 pounds. It's so heavy. It's one of like the first generation Macs, but
there's blogs
I can't get anything
on here.
off of it.
There's blogs on here that I wrote that I was writing. No one was reading.
So Kyle had a website called KyleMorrisGolf.com.
KyleMorrisGolf.com.
Some of them, my dad had died. I remember my dad calling you,
hey Kyle, Kyle Morris,
Mr. KyleMorrisGolf.com would just refer to you to that all the time. Right. But Kyle would post his stuff on here. He'd post his.
I was really doing it for sponsors, because I was sending, the investors and sponsors that were.
Yeah, he had his little blog. So we're kind of running through all the blogs, and it's interesting because I mean they're pretty detailed about how your game actually played out that week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's fun.
All right, well, let's take a break there. We will come back to another episode of Tales of the Tour. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I think next time we talk about some trips to Hawaii, California.
Hawaii's coming up. Yep,
West
California.
Coast, back home.
Back home.
All right, we'll see you guys back here for another episode of Tales from the Tour. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the latest episode of the Stock Shot Secrets. Now, I want to give you a special opportunity where you and I can chat individually by just simply texting the following number, and you can ask any question under the sun about anything relative to your game or your skill, body, mind, whatever it is. So just text me at 614-541-1988. That's 614-541-1988. Subscribe to our text line, and then you can be in the special Stock Shot community where we can talk about everything under the sun regarding stock shots.